All right, guys, welcome to this week's edition of Transportation Tuesday. And as you can see, we are back in colorful Colorado and all the beautiful mountains. Back from a long trip in California and the Pacific Northwest, Northern California. So, man, it was a long trip, but I had a good time. California is always pretty nice, if only it wasn't so expensive. And I got to see a lot in California. Got to see the Bay Area, San Francisco, Marin County, Oakland, San Jose, and Silicon Valley, also Sacramento. And for those of you who are subscribed to and watch the Miles Mike Travels channel, the videos from California will be dropping over the next several months, so stay tuned over there. And also, just a reminder, if you want to see the videos as soon as they get uploaded on that channel, make sure to join the membership. And I also want to thank the current members of the Miles Mike Travels channel because you guys help keep the content going. So enjoy the content. It will be coming out between now and the rest of the year. Got a ton of videos from California, so enjoy all that. Over on this channel, we are getting back into the groove, so several videos will be dropping this week. And Friday's video is going to be about Nashville. And of course, now that I've been out to California and had a second trip to the Pacific Northwest, on this channel also, I'm going to have a few topics and videos talking about some of the things I saw out there. So stay tuned for that. But enough about all that. Let's go ahead and get into the reason why you are here. Because you want to see what is going on in the news. What are the transportation stories of the day? Well, let's get into it. In our first one, we are going to Ontario, Canada. Let's take a look. All right, so as you can see right here, in Ontario, in the Toronto area, which is an area we talked about with that 401 video that was very popular. You guys love that video. Well, they are building a new highway. The Premier Doug Ford is going for Ontario Highway 413. Let's take a look at what this one is about.
A handful of protesters opposed to Highway 413 targeted the Premier's news conference on the project. Their signs obvious in the background as they also attempted to be heard.
The transportation infrastructure we need to fight gridlock and drive.
The Premier and his transportation minister announcing they've awarded the first two construction contracts, with the actual building starting soon.
What I've been told, this is going to start in the next few days, and the other interchange is going to start in the next couple of weeks.
But the government won't say when the highway will be finished or how much it'll cost. The transportation minister sidestepping those questions.
Oh, let's stop it right there. So my Canadian folks in Toronto, is that how it's done up there? They can start a project and not even tell you how much it costs? That's like the main thing. It's the cost before anything. So let's see, they can get away with that in Canada?
The cost of not building is far, far greater, and we know, and we've made a commitment to get shovels in the ground. So over the next couple of years, you will see the contract has been broken up into many different pieces.
Part of the controversy is that the province has said the 413 will save people up to 30 minutes driving along the 52 kilometers across the northern GTA. But an expert panel in 2017 found the time saving would only be 30 seconds. However, the Ford government has dismissed that finding. Opposition parties and the protesters suggest alternatives to the highway, such as removing the tolls from Highway 407 for truck traffic to relieve congestions on other roads. That's a no-go, says the Premier.
No, we talked to the Trucking Association, and the problem with that, you put trucks on there, and when they all get off at the same exit, there's going to be a lineup backed up from here to Timbuktu.
Environmentalists don't like that the proposed highway will cut into the greenbelt, saying it'll mean...
All right, so looks like the debate here is whether to build 413 or make 407 free. Now, some of you guys in the comments on the other video told me that Doug Ford was saying he was going to buy out the 407. Was that one of his campaign promises? Well, it looks like he has changed his mind on that. Let's take a look at the Google map. I always like to go to the map. Let's get here to Toronto, or some of them say it's Toronto. So with this road, this 413, so this one that has traffic on it, that's the 401. That's the one we talked about on the video. So of course, there's a bunch of traffic on it. This green line right here, this is the 407. This is the tolled one. And this new road is gonna loop around here like this. So it's basically like another outer loop in Toronto. So what he's saying is that it'll back up the interchange if all the trucks are getting on 407 from 401. And maybe not. But that's not a big deal. You can just, if you had to, I'm sure it'd be cheaper to add a new flyover ramp or widen the existing ramps or build new ramps for trucks rather than to build an entirely new freeway. So I don't get that comment about the trucks. But it looks like he's going back on his promise to buy out the 407. If I recall, that's what you guys said he was going to do, was to buy out the 407. So it looks like that's not happening. You guys are getting 413 looped around here, around Brampton, and running up here. Let's go back to the video.
Paving over 2,000 acres of prime agricultural land, and they want answers on the cost.
Why are we building a highway that hasn't been costed? So the estimates at this point are between $12 and $14 billion. Show us the numbers, Premier Ford.
The Premier also connected building the highway to the fight against U.S. tariffs.
It will keep drivers moving and keep our economy going. No matter what President Trump sends our way, construction alone will keep 6,000 workers on the job.
The Green Party leader responded to that, saying in a statement that the Premier is using tariff talk to justify wasting billions of taxpayer dollars on a highway that won't solve gridlock. He suggests the government do more to expand public transit.
All right, so that's the deal on the 413. Yeah, that's kind of a reach to claim this is going to offset tariffs. This has nothing to do with tariffs from what I see. So looks like this is already happening though. Doug Ford is getting this highway. He said the contracts have been awarded already, and he doesn't even have to tell you guys how much it costs. But hey, at least this time around, the people who are protesting it are protesting leadership. They're not protesting the engineering firm that's designing the highway. So at least we've made some progress on that front. I might look a little more into this highway. Might do a separate video about this one because I want to explore more of the details on this whole thing. But that's Ontario 413, guys. Doug Ford. Seems like he's the king of Ontario. He's doing whatever he wants up there. All right, for this next story, we're going to head on over to Texas real quick in San Antonio. Now, they are working on 1604 out there, which is the loop that surrounds, the second loop that surrounds San Antonio, because they already have Interstate 410, which is the inner loop. 1604 here is your outer loop, and the northern half of it is a freeway. So San Antonio is doing their best Houston impersonation. Little Houston right here with these loops. Let's take a look at the story.
Talk traffic, specifically the Loop 1604 North Expansion Project. If you didn't know, it's divided into 6 different parts stretching across the north side of San Antonio. I want to focus in on this area. It's segment 2, and that is the interchange at I-10 and Loop 1604. And that is where the new flyover ramp will open today. So according to TxDOT, it is officially the tallest ramp in San Antonio. At 128 feet high, this bridge stretches 1.5 miles from Loop 1604 West to I-10 East. And yesterday, I got to go up there, all the way up there, to get a better idea of what you should expect later today. Now, District Engineer Charles Benavides told me it starts as 2 lanes on 1604 just past Northwest Military. Then it becomes 1 until you connect to I-10.
Instead of typically going through and using the existing cloverleaf direct connectors where had a lot of merging traffic, people that were kind of competing for those lanes, now they'll have their direct connectors straight to downtown. So you kind of get out of that merge now.
And this is the third flyover of 8 to be finished at the interchange. The fourth one is on schedule to open by the end of this year, so that's some good news. And that one will take drivers Loop 1604 East to I-10 East.
So Loop 1604 East to I-10 East. Looks like that's here? No, that's up here. Oh, okay, so we're under construction. So yeah, in San Antonio, they are expanding 1604 because in Texas, hey, they build it big and they do it. They build them high. Texas has probably the highest interchanges by far in America. So San Antonio is moving on up, literally. Man, I might have to get back out to Texas sometime soon to check out all this new stuff going on. I mean, they had the bridge down there in Corpus Christi. Now we got new super high flyover ramps in San Antonio. Man, I might have to go down to Texas. All right, what do we got next? Let's see. All right, guys, so this story happened a few weeks ago. So we're a little late on this one, but I do want to bring you all up to speed on what's happening with our airlines. Now, the airline industry is very competitive, very difficult to make money in. And Spirit Airlines had already filed bankruptcy before. And they also attempted to merge with JetBlue, which was rejected by the DOJ, if I recall. So this is now their second bankruptcy. So let's take a look at this.
Another bankruptcy filing by Spirit Airlines. It's second in a year, the move coming during this major holiday travel weekend. ABC's Alex Persay joins us with what this could mean for passengers. And Alex, the airline having a tough time.
Yeah, Mary, I mean, it's been a tough year for Spirit Airlines, the country's largest budget airline, now filing for Chapter 11 for the second time in less than 12 months. In a statement, the airline saying in part that since emerging from our previous restructuring, it has become clear that there is much more work to be done. Spirit first came out of Chapter 11 in March, but since then it has failed to significantly cut costs and struggled with a weaker demand for domestic travel. And now the Florida-based airline says it will reduce its network and cut its fleet to shrink costs by hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And all of this is happening during one of the busiest travel holidays, but Spirit insists that there will be no impacts for its passengers this Labor Day weekend, saying that flights will continue to operate normally. It also says, Whit, that customers can still use their tickets, credits, and loyalty points. Whit?
All right, so now personally, I've never flown with Spirit or the budget airlines, but I've heard various things about it. So how does this company, let's talk about this. How does this company go into bankruptcy and file for it again in less than 12 months? Well, one of the things that happens with bankruptcy, the big thing is the debt gets discharged. And apparently, from what we can see, Spirit Airlines did not change how they do business after their first bankruptcy. So basically, they didn't learn. They owed all this debt to their creditors, and they got their debt relief. But they went back to business as usual. So the reason they're in bankruptcy again is because they didn't cut costs. They didn't change the way they operate. They didn't cut out the lines that aren't profitable. And lo and behold, they found themselves right back in debt again. And now they're filing for bankruptcy again. So now they're doing what they should have done with the first bankruptcy. And apparently, Spirit has not been making money for quite a while. So let's take a look at another video that further expands on this situation. This one's a little newer, so this was just a few days ago from Atlanta News First. Let's see what they had to say with more details.
This next story, Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy for the second time in a year.
And while a judge has allowed the airline to keep flying, at least for now, passengers are asking what happens to my ticket if they shut down.
Well, we have the answer as Atlanta News First consumer investigator Better Harry joins us now. And Harry, what protections are in place if the airline shuts down?
Not many. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, Spirit confirmed for us that it has discontinued service to 11 cities, and that's not including Atlanta. And nobody wants their vacation plans flying on standby. If you recently bought a Spirit ticket, you want to know exactly where your money could land if the airline doesn't. So Spirit customers hoping their flights take off may need unfortunately, a backup plan. The federal government offers no specific consumer protections. The airline files for bankruptcy. So if you paid with a debit card, you're likely out of luck unless your bank chooses to offer voluntary coverage. Your best chance of a refund comes if you used a credit card. Under the Fair Credit Billing Act, you could dispute a charge for services not received. That means if Spirit shuts down, you could get your money back through your credit card company. Here's what you need to do right now if you have a ticket. Check to see how you paid. Did you use your credit card or your debit card? If you use your credit, call your credit card company and ask about services not received for protections. If you use debit, ask your bank about coverage. Some do offer debit card protection, but it's tricky. Keep all of your receipts, all of your records, and you need proof. You have to have proof if Spirit cancels your flight. Back out here, protecting for banks and companies, protecting your money is not automatic. Knowing you're right could save your trip and your wallet.
Hey, that's why, if possible, guys, always purchase these things with a credit card, preferably American Express. In my opinion, they have the best consumer protections. It's so easy to get your money back. But me personally, I haven't flown Spirit. Don't plan on flying Spirit. But if any of you guys have tried Spirit, let me know what your experience was with that airline in the comments. And will you still be flying with them in lieu of this second bankruptcy? Putting your money at risk. I would say avoid Spirit, because no one wants that disruption right there. We still have Frontier as far as budget airlines go. And also, to add on to this, I did see a headline about United Airlines was speculating to be trying to buy Spirit, but apparently that's not the case. They announced that they are not interested in acquiring Spirit Airlines at this time. So whatever happens with Spirit, I'll be keeping a lookout, and we'll let you know on a later episode if more details emerge. But that is Spirit Airlines, guys. Bankrupt again. All right. Now for this story, we're talking about speeders. Seems like we have some new situation or story about speeding every week, don't we? Well, this one is in Missouri. So, you've been on a highway and you see those signs sometimes. I remember growing up, when we driving to Virginia, when you cross the Virginia state line, they had the sign that said, "Speed checked by aircraft." And when I was a kid, I used to look up and be like, well, I don't see any planes flying over, checking the speeds. Well, in Missouri, they are actually doing that. They are using aircraft to catch people speeding in construction zones. Let me show you this.
I-70 construction zones. You might have noticed planes flying near the area. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen.
And I'm John Murphy. Thanks for joining us. KMUH's Caleb Anderson is live to tell us what the state is using the planes for. Caleb?
Missouri State Highway Patrol is using its aviation division to slow down and reduce the accidents here on the I-70 construction zone. Now, normally this highway is usually operating at about a 70-mile-per-hour speed limit, but with the construction zones, it's about 55. Highway Patrol says that the decision comes following numerous complaints of speeding and reckless driving in the zone. Officials say the planes help them flag down bad drivers more efficiently, and being in the air gives them an advantage.
Most people that are speeding obviously are looking for patrol cars on the side of the road or a trooper, somebody running radar. But obviously, very rarely is somebody driving down the road looking out their windshield or their side window for an airplane.
After just an hour and a half, the operation led to 7 speed citations, 1 speed warning, and 9 other warnings.
So if you travel through the area, make sure that you're always going the posted speed limit in that construction zone, because you never know when we might have the plane up.
Now, there is no timetable.
All right, guys. So if you are driving through Missouri, where they have that construction on I-70, which I think is around the Columbia area, they're getting you from the air. Because, yeah, we're driving and everybody is looking for the patrol car. I use the Waze app. But in construction zones especially, you got to slow down because, there are workers out there on the road. And, you don't want to harm somebody out here who's just doing their job, so they can go home to their family. So I'm all for this. If you got to get in there to get them, hey, get them. Because I've seen some Crazy stuff on the road and all those miles that I've traveled. And on the side note, did anybody notice that this guy is looking up like this? Is like they got the teleprompter up too high for him, so he's reading he's reading like this. Just a little small detail. But yeah, I'm all for this. This sounds pretty good.
How long they will be using the planes here on I-70, but when we spoke with Sergeant Green, he said could be till next week, could be till tomorrow.
All right. So if that's what we're gonna do, that's what it's gotta be. So if you are in Missouri driving through construction zones, don't be surprised if they can see you from the air. So slow down and go the posted speed limit or pay the price. All right, since I'm back here in Denver, of course, we got a Denver transportation story, which we also did a poll on earlier today, and that is about Waymo. Now, I just left the Bay Area, so out there in San Francisco and San Jose, they are everywhere. Like, I mean, everywhere. So when the videos come out on the Mileage Mike Travels channel in the next few weeks, you guys are probably going to see Waymos all over my videos because they are deep in the Bay Area. Well, they have been expanding to other American cities. I know they're in Atlanta. They were talking about Dallas. I'm not sure if they're there yet, but now they are also coming to Denver. And one interesting thing about Denver that they don't have to deal with in the other places is snow. Because we do get some snow here. I survived my first Colorado winter earlier this year. So let's check out Waymo coming to Colorado.
Drivers who aren't human as well. No drivers at all, actually. So this morning we're learning Waymo, the autonomous driving company, is coming to Denver.
State and city leaders call this the first step toward a fully driverless ride-hailing service here in Colorado. Fox 31's Carly Moore joins us live with details. Yeah, I mean, the big thing, too, is the cities they've done this in so far, Carly, are all warm weather cities. This will be the first place with snow.
Right, yeah, weather is a big factor, and I think a big concern from at least people we spoke to as well. Denver would be the sixth city that Waymo kind of hits the road in. However, as you mentioned, all kind of warm weather places. And so right now they're just kind of in the mapping and testing the technology phase. But here's what you need to know this morning. Waymo bringing its all-electric fleet to Denver. This is, of course, all-electric vehicles and the latest driverless systems. Data generally shows Waymo trips are at least slightly more expensive than competitors. However, it's not always the case. And with no driver, that definitely takes tipping out of the equation. The company already powers hundreds of thousands of trips each week, as we were talking about, in places like Phoenix and San Francisco. Local riders here had mixed reactions to the announcement.
It's not good news. You're taking the jobs and giving it to the robot. I don't know how many cars they're trying to put on the road, but when it comes to the conditions of Colorado, there's always construction, first of all. We have snow. And then we have the mountains.
I think it's a good idea and efficient, and if the price is right and it's safe and secure, I think it can be a really good thing for the city.
So Governor Jared Polis expressed his excitement about the new options coming to Colorado, saying in his words here, "I'm excited to help Coloradans get where we want to go faster, safer, with additional transportation options. The arrival of Waymo's autonomous vehicle technology in Denver is a step forward." Waymo says Denver riders won't be able to hail trips right away. This is just about studying the city first. When they do debut, though, it will be shorter trips, local trips. They can't go on the interstate yet, so it's mainly going to be places around town. So if you need to get, somewhere downtown, that's totally an option for you. Live in the Metro this morning, Carly Moore, Fox.
Guys, I am going to tell you about this rideshare. This isn't just a rideshare. This is also the food delivery. And I say this as someone, when I was in Charlotte, when I needed extra money at times or when money was tight, I did the Uber Eats, Postmates stuff here and there. If you are an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, make sure you got something else lined up in the next 5 to 10 years, because these companies are salivating at the idea of replacing the human drivers. The biggest cost to Uber, Lyft, all this stuff is the human driver. So the days are numbered for human drivers, I believe, when it comes to this rideshare stuff. It's just a matter of time. And Waymo's just kind of the prototype, the test run. Because don't think for a second that if this is successful all over the country, whenever they get to other cities around the country, don't think Uber and Lyft are not watching this so they can get their own self-driving autonomous vehicle fleets. So it is coming. Like that first guy said in this video about putting people out of work, it is going to put people out of work. The gig economy is going to be over in a certain amount of time. I don't know exactly when. It could be 5, it could be 10 years. I don't think it'll be. It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. But it is coming. It is coming. These cars are going to put rideshare drivers out of work. So whatever you need to do, get your skills up. Find some industry that's protected from this, because this is just one of the many sectors that is going away. So if this is what you rely on for income, get your money while you can and invest it in learning something else, because the days of the human rideshare driver are over. There's just too much profit in this right here. Like the other thing the guy that was mentioned is that you don't have to tip because there's no driver. So that will also allow these companies to be more competitive on the pricing. So it's coming. It is coming. This is just the beginning. But you heard it here. Waymo's coming to Denver and all over America. Now, I haven't ridden in one myself yet, even though I had my car when I was in the Bay Area, so I didn't need to. And then I actually paid for a human driver. I use Uber Eats, not Uber Eats, but Uber when I was traveling around San Francisco, if I didn't walk. So yeah, guys, it is coming. So my Uber drivers, be aware. The clock is ticking.
I've seen them driving around Phoenix.
Yeah, they're cool.
Very weird.
I can't wait.
Would you get
Have
one?
you been in
Go get
one? I haven't been in one, but I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm going to use
Well, you
them all
go
day.
first.
Okay.
Let me know how it goes.
All right. I think I'll just be like fascinated. I'm like, look at that thing turn. Yeah.
No car.
All right. So there it is, Waymo coming to Denver. I might ride in one when they come down here and show you guys, make a video about it. All right, that is Waymo. All right, for this last story, we're going down south to Tennessee in that Nashville area. Now, if you guys don't know, Nashville has been one of the fastest growing metro areas in the country over the past several decades, but they have a roadway network that was designed for a much smaller city. So, and one of the main highways that experiences congestion in Nashville is Interstate 24, specifically between Nashville itself and Murfreesboro, which is a suburb. At this point, it's a suburb of Nashville. So what Tennessee is doing is something called choice lanes to address the issues with I-24 out there. Let's take a look.
You know, Lindsay tracks your traffic every morning for 5 hours, and now traffic is part of our growing Nashville segment. It's our way of tracking the opportunities and challenges that come with growth.
TDOT is now looking at more ways to try and ease the gridlock along I-24 between Nashville and Murfreesboro. It's been a stretch of road that's been a problem for a very long time. Fox 17 News' Chris Knowles joins us live this morning above I-24 to try to explain their method here.
I'm standing here just alongside I-24, and it doesn't take long for traffic to back up here, causing gridlock. Now TDOT is looking at adding choice lanes to keep drivers flowing in their respective directions. The proposed Southeast Choice Lanes project would add new optional lanes to about 26 miles of the interstate. Choice lanes are additional lanes that use pricing to help control traffic. They let drivers move at consistent speeds even during rush hour, while regular lanes.
All right, just let me go ahead and clarify. These are not something that we haven't seen before. Basically, these are express lanes, but Tennessee, for some reason, wants their own special name. So they're calling them choice lanes because it's a marketing thing to say, hey, you have a choice of whether or not to use these lanes. And basically, pretty much, they're like express lanes in that there's going to be a variable toll. Usually it's a variable toll. And you can use these lanes and they're supposed to guarantee you a certain speed. So for those out in Tennessee who haven't seen express lanes yet, that's basically what these are. You have a choice of whether or not to use the choice lanes. And as you can see, there will be here in the interior lanes, they'll have 2 of them. So this is the idea, rather than, a lot of cities are doing this too, rather than building free lanes. Which reminds me, we might need to do a full video just on express lanes because they are popping up everywhere all over the country right now. But yeah, these are pretty much Tennessee's version of express lanes. Same thing.
May be backed up. Unlike a toll road, motorists can still use other lanes for free.
Some of the things that they're looking at are like the choice lanes. So making dedicated lanes for like high occupancy vehicles. That would make a world of difference here in Tennessee.
In the meantime, TDOT is hosting several public information meetings to explain the plan and get feedback. The dates and locations are September 30th at the Smyrna Event Center, October 1st at the Coleman Park Community Center in Nashville, and October 7th in Antioch at the Southeast Community Center. And all meetings will begin at 5:30. A virtual meeting will also be available September 30th on the project website, and you can find that link on our website.
All right, let me go to the map. I want to see. It's been a while since I've been to Nashville. Let me see how many lanes they have on this road already as it is. Actually not that busy right now. There's a few yellow spots. Let's go to the satellite. Let's see. Okay, so it already is, looks like it already has 8 lanes. So yeah, you can't add any more general purpose lanes. Or you shouldn't, at least. Looks like this one interior might be an HOV lane already. Yeah, okay. So right now they have 3 general purpose lanes on each side along with an HOV lane, which I think HOV lanes are pretty useless. You're better off just using express lanes over HOV or HOV plus express. Okay. So looking at this rendering in the video, go back to it. So looking at this rendering in the video, they are going to expand it to 4 general purpose lanes on each side. Okay. And 2 interior choice lanes. I'm cool with that. I think that's a good configuration right there. And after you do that, once they do build this, 2 express lanes, 4 general purpose lanes, at that point, Interstate 24 is maxed out. No more lanes beyond that. You're done.
Project website, and you can find that link on our website, as well as all of these dates, and there will be the same information that's given out online from the meeting. Reporting live in Nashville, I'm Chris Knowles, Fox 17 News.
All right, Tennessee choice lanes. And all right, guys, that is going to do it for today. Make sure to let me know down in the comments what you think about the stories that we covered today, or if you have any other stories that you want to be discussed on the channel. Let me know down below, or just shoot me an email, and I'll see if I can get into it. But feels good to be back home, so we are getting back into the swing of things this week. So stay tuned for the content that's going to be dropping, and might also do a episode of this on Thursday, so stay tuned for that as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.